Okay, so I am going to go over the evaluation here. So at the end, I want you to create a quiz. And I'm trying to make this as simple as possible, so hopefully you can get it done in an hour. I could have made it a lot longer, but I've decided, I did have it a lot longer initially, but I've decided to shorten it and just look at the basics. So here we go. There's two parts. Part A, you're going to create a quiz. Create a quiz for solving quadratic equations. It should be about 1 to 3 pages. The quiz has to be created in Google Docs. So I'm going to give you a page and I want you to type it on that page. And this will allow me to see like your progress and how you created it. I can go back and see how you did it. Add a mark breakdown. So I want to know what the marks are for each question on your quiz. Okay, so I'm going to have two parts here. We're going to do solving quadratic equations by factoring. So you're going to create 6 or more solve for x questions using factoring with at least one. One of them should have common factoring. Okay, include each type of factoring. These should be your own, created by yourself. And I'll show you later on in this video how to do that. Okay, and then using the quadratic formula sheet, you should create 3 solving for x questions using the quadratic formula with 1 question for each type. So one would have 2 solutions, one would have 1, and one would have no. And if you continue to the end of the video, I'll show you how to do these as well. They should be original. And finally, I need some creativity and some extras. So I want to see who here really wants to get a good mark. They want to do more than what's required here. Okay. You can add more questions. You can also make some of the questions in the above parts thinking and inquiry, such as including higher exponents, or maybe 2 variables, okay, which is a little bit tricky here. I might get rid of that. So just higher exponents might do something, okay? But I'll get rid of the 2 variables, okay? You may want to include a communication question or even a word problem, okay? Now part B. Answer key. After you've created the quiz, print it and produce an answer key. Okay, the answer key should show all steps. The solution should have proper form as shown in the lesson. So you follow the same steps. When your answer key is done, I want you to either print it, I want you to take a picture of it or scan it and hand it in. Okay, here's how I'm going to mark. This is a proposed mark breakdown. I'm going to say I may change it after marking some, so it'll benefit you. Okay, so first there are going to be 6 marks for those solving by factoring. Don't include the 4 types and at least a common factor. Then there's going to be 3 quadratic formula ones, okay? 3 marks for that. Creativity and extras, 5 marks. Neatly organized with appropriate space to write your answers, 2 marks. Give the appropriate marks for the amount of work, 2 marks. And finally, the answer key is 9 marks. Now, I'm going to do this a little different. Every time I find a mistake in that answer key, I'm going to deduct a mark. So it could be anything from form, from missing a step. If I find something wrong, I'm going to deduct a mark and up to 9 deducted marks. Okay, that's how that's going to work. And the mark is out of 27 if you add it all up. Now here I'm going to show you how to create the questions. So first for the factoring questions. In order to create them, you actually have to expand. So we're going to start off with creating a sum and product question. So we're going to do a sum and product question. I'll show you how. When you do these on the quiz, I want you to mix them up. I don't want you to say, this is sum and product. It'll be too easy. You want to mix them all up. So for sum and the product, okay, so here's what you do. You create the 2 brackets. You go x plus maybe 3, x minus 9. And now you expand. So if you can't remember how to expand, so from this one here, you expand, you go this times that, and this times that, this times that, and this times that. So you get x squared minus 9x plus 3x minus 27. And then you get x squared minus 6x minus 27. Okay? Now, how do you turn it into a question where you solve for x? Oh, sorry, I just extended the page. Let's go back down here. Well, you just make this equal to 0. And there's your sum and product question. So you just pick 2 numbers up here. So if I go to the top, pick 2 numbers here, any 2 numbers from like 1 to 9. You can go to 1 to 12, multiply them out. Okay, and you've created your sum and product question and make it equal to 0. Now, if you want to add a factoring, so you want to take a 2 out, Well, you can multiply this. If you want to make it even harder and you want to do the common factor, you multiply it all by 2, and you get 2x squared minus 12x minus 54 equals 0. Okay, and then if you want, I can show you how you can solve it, but this is pretty much how you created it. So if you wanted to solve it, you go backwards. Okay, so if you wanted to solve this, so that you'd ask this question, and then when you do it on your answer key, well, someone would take the 2 out. Okay, and you get x squared minus 6x, and then 54 divided by 2. 54 divided by 2. I know it's on the top here. 27. And then someone would have to come up with the two numbers that multiply to give you negative 27, add to give you negative 6. So they'd come up with x. Let's see the two numbers. Add to give you, so it would be, I should know the two numbers from above. Okay, sorry, so the two numbers down here, so somehow it got shot up there. The two numbers would be x minus 9 and x plus 3, right? And then each bracket equal to 0, and someone can go solve the question. And x plus 3 equals 0, so you get x equal to negative 3. Okay, let's continue. Now, how do you do a decomposition? Okay, decomposition. Okay, for decomposition, do the same thing. You create your question. 2x, maybe minus 3, maybe 3x plus 7. Okay, you multiply. So you multiply it all out. So you do expanding. 6x squared. Okay, plus 14x minus 6x minus 21. And then you get 6x squared plus 8x minus 21. Okay, and there's your decomposition question. So if you keep these numbers smaller, so you keep the 7 and the 3, it's easier later to figure it out. Okay, because this one would be quite difficult to figure out. So the smaller you keep these, the easier it is to figure out. So now you just go 6x squared plus 8x minus 21, minus 21 equal to 0, and that would be your question. Okay, similar in the one before, this would be our actual question right here. This would be one of your questions. Again, you'll have to make one of each kind. I'm gonna stop the video and I'm gonna continue how to make the other ones in the next video.